I used to compete on the national circuit. I was rated for 2 years, and then what happened was I tore my groin muscle and had to retire. So I found other things to do. I became a stand-up comedian for 14 years, and while I was doing stand-up, I found a chiropractor that put my leg back together without surgery, and he says, "Look, I'll make you better than you were when you were fighting." And I was like going, "Geez, okay, how's that gonna work, you know?" And then he says, "Look, if I can't fulfill that promise, you don't owe me a penny." I said, "Okay, fine." So after a year of physical therapy, I was better than I was before I retired. And I was like, "Oh my God, okay." And then he says, "You can start training now, training really hard." So I started training, and then what originally happened was Golden Harvest was going to send me to Hong Kong to do stand-up. I was going to do half of my act in English and half of my act in Chinese. And unfortunately, that project fell through. So they said, "Well, we still want to use you because we know you're a martial artist, and and you can, act in front of the camera." I said, "Okay." Well, he goes, "Well, what do you got?" He goes, "Well, we got two movies. One is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one, the original one. They're shooting in North Carolina for 3 months. Or you can stay here in LA and work on this Jet Li movie." I said, "I'll do the Jet Li movie." And she goes, "Really? Well, it's not that much work, this and that." I go, "No, I want to fight Jet Li. I want to fight him on screen because I want to learn how you guys do your stunts. This is back in '87. This is in the back in when Hong Kong film was just really popular, really thriving, and they made contact, during those fights. So here I was an ex-professional fighter. I knew how to take a hit, but the hard part was selling the hit after I got hit. So there was all this stuff I learned. I learned from the best stunt guys on there. We all were given our own stunt people. One of mine was one of Jackie's stunt guys on Police Story that did that fall outside the bus and fell his head on the concrete and was in a coma. So that was my guy. And then I was also coached by Yuen Woo-ping's brother, Brandy, or Eagle. And then I'd come in and watch Yuen Woo and how they would do the stunts. So that's how I learned. That was the beginnings of how I learned how to do stunts. Back in those days when you worked in a Hong Kong film, you were going to get your ass kicked. That's all there is to it. You're going to walk away. I mean, just let's be honest. After I worked on that film, for 2 straight days, Jet kicked my ass. It wasn't. He wasn't. It was just like whang. I couldn't walk for a week afterwards. I mean, that was just what happened at that time. I mean, if you look at even Jackie's movies, he did the same thing. He took the hits too. I mean, Jet took hits. Everybody took hits. And it had to do with camera angles. They would do these long shots where they do these intricate moves, like 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 moves, and they would make contact because of the angle. It was these master shots where you couldn't lie. So but the thing was, is you had to sell the hit bigger than the actual hit was going to be. Right. So that was the art of what we had to do back then. That was really tough because the first time he hit me with the twister. He hit me on the side of the head. My whole left side went numb, and I still had to sell the hit. I had to jump, fall on my back. But when he hit me so hard that first time, my whole left side went numb. I couldn't make the jump and fall on my back, so I had to do it again. So I was like, "Oh God!" Then I had to do it another. Then the second time I did it, I sold it, but it was a master shot that went to the second guy, and he didn't sell it. So I was like, "Oh God, dude, please." Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah, but I just told the guy, "You gotta sell it, girls. I'm taking that hit." He goes, "Yeah, I know." And so it was just harsh. But I learned the stunt. I wanted to learn the stunts so I could choreograph. I mean, Yuen Woo-ping, Jackie, Sammo, Bruce Lee. Those guys were my heroes growing up. And every time they had a movie that would come to the theater, I would go. I mean, I seen Enter the Dragon 60 times in the theater growing up.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and Snake and Eagle Shout I saw like 30 times. I mean, all those movies. I study. I break them down in my head. I know all the moves in my head. If you ask me a certain scene, I'll go, "Oh yeah, remember when he did this, this, and this?" I mean, I have that type of a memory when it comes to those fights.